Well, hello and welcome back to the You Amaze Me recording with myself, Amanda Baker. We're here in this space where story meets soul and soul meets story. And today we have a guest joining us, Jordana. Am I saying that
Yeah,
correctly?
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. And she is here as a devoted mom of two incredible kids who've inspired her journey of transformation through personal experiences and overcoming years of depression, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, low self-esteem, and has discovered the power of resilience and profound healing, which those types of stories really intrigue me, as myself being a mental health provider. I say sometimes I'm more of like an intuitive healer, coach,
Mm.
but really just the story of our humanness and evolution and growth. So I'm excited to hear more about you and what your life's been like and really just the way that we've come into contact, I believe, kind of in those divine connections. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, motherhood cracked me wide open.
Oh.
Yeah, my
Well,
son
I
just
love
turned
hearing that.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of moms who have similar stories or experiences to me where maybe like identity or soul's purpose and lots of depression, lots of feeling lost and confused about life before children, and then they become moms and everything just changes because having children will change you. It was definitely has been a wild ride. As I was saying, my son just turned 10 on Saturday, so I'm officially a mom for like a whole decade, which is
My goodness. It's
crazy.
a long time. Yeah.
10 years of mothering, and it still feels like I'm brand new at it. Every year that my kids turn a new age, I'm like, it's my first time ever mothering a 10-year-old. Like I've never done this before. So we're on this ride together. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
and we really are, and it is. And I actually, like just before recording, we both said we didn't know truly where this conversation was going to take us, and already, like I knew that you were a mother just from reading that about yourself, but I am too. So I have an 8-year old, and so I love just the connection and even speaking to personal experiences of what motherhood does, like breaking you open or having to confront things about self that maybe you wouldn't get to unless you had a kid. And I don't think
Yeah.
people can truly get it
Right.
until they're in
In their
it
shoes. Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. a hundred
Exactly.
percent. Yeah. I have some single friends, and they're so adorable when they try to tell me, like, oh, I would never do that if I was a parent, or you should really teach your child this. And I'm like, you have no idea, respectfully, no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you really just don't know, especially when you've been a parent for more than 3 years. Like, the deep inner wounds, the triggers, the mirrors, all the guck that you have accumulated throughout your lifetime thus far is being projected in the most
Yes.
insane, unfiltered, most raw way. And you don't know how you're going to react. You don't know how you're going to handle situations until you're in
Oh,
the moment. So it's always so adorable when non-parents tell me what to do. I'm like, oh, you're so cute. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, yes, ideally, I would love to take your advice. And that sounds like it would be so helpful and so wonderful. That's just not reality, you know? So
not yes. Yeah, it's coming from a well-intentioned place, but that like innocence that they're even showing and wanting to
yeah,
be helpful when oftentimes we might just need like a listening ear, like maybe don't need the
yeah,
advice, but more just to have space that's there to express what you're experiencing because there's so much of this that isn't or just can't be prepared for. Then they talk about things like books talk about things or doctors talk about things like postpartum depression, but that beyond something like
yeah,
chemically oriented that can show up when you're way past giving birth. And like you said, those shadows, those wounds, the emotions that are charged because of the things that are being reflected back to one by having a kid, and it's beyond like you said, like anything that I anticipated, and every year is, or every day is
Yeah.
like brand new. Is like,
Yeah.
oh, now I'm, like you said, oh, I've never parented a 10-year-old before. And we're supposed to kind of, or it can be pressured to kind of look like we know what we're doing,
Yeah.
like that sense of confidence. But
Yeah, totally.
really most of us don't. Um, so that's too cool too about your son's birthday. I think you said being on Saturday. Mine was yesterday.
Oh, happy
And so
birthday.
yeah, yeah. And same
Amazing.
to your
Capricorn.
son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Yep, I am. And
Yeah.
the Capricorn new moon was
Yeah.
just last night as well. So let's go back though, because I heard you mention that you have two kids. Yeah. Tell me more about when you first, whether started experiencing like this transformation, or even what it was like for you deciding to embark on motherhood, wherever you want to start.
Sure. So you actually mentioned postpartum depression, and what happened was that I actually had over 2 decades, like 22 years of severe like depression, chronic anxiety, PTSD, insomnia, chronic pain. I was diagnosed with stomach ulcers, chronic migraines, fibromyalgia, like crazy stuff into my 20s. And I found after, so I was around 27 years old and I had gotten out of a 5-year relationship, which I thought was going to be a forever relationship. Thank God it
Mhm.
wasn't. But I
Uh-huh.
started, drinking more and just being a little bit more irresponsible and not really caring for myself. And a friend that was pretty concerned was like, look, I can see that you're really falling into like a deeper state of depression and I'm worried, and you're drinking and doing all these things that you don't normally do, why don't you just try and smoke a joint with me and see how you feel? It's kept me off of medication my whole life. It's really helped me. If you use it as medicine, maybe it could help you too.
Mm.
And,
Hmm.
as a teenager, everyone smokes pot. You get a little high. Sometimes you get paranoid. Some people love it, some people hate it. I was not like a super lover of it in high school. So,
Okay.
with the intention of smoking cannabis as medicine to help alleviate my symptoms of anxiety and depression, it changed my life completely. So I had been on so much medication. I was on Effexor, I was on Seroquel, and I was taking a sleeping pill as well. Started smoking cannabis with the intention to heal. Got off
Uh-huh.
of 300 milligrams, more than that, 320 something milligrams of Effexor, completely eliminated the Seroquel, completely eliminated the sleeping pill as well. Went to my doctor, told him, look, like at the time it was like before legalization, but
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
medically legal in Canada. So I was saying, I've been on these pills for so many years. I've gained weight. I'm it's insufferable. Like I'm so unhappy. I feel more suicidal. I'm not okay. I I've been using cannabis and it's been the most helpful thing I've ever come across. Can I please have a prescription? And I was told
Mm.
no. I was
Mm.
told that it's a drug and that it's not going to actually help and that it's just my imagination, and it, totally gaslit by my doctor. So I was like, well, fuck you. So I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. This is actually helping me. Everything you've told me to do doesn't help. So
Hmm.
I did what I had to do on my own by weaning off more medication and supporting myself. I did the research and supported myself. And then it wasn't long after that I met my husband, and it was very much a fairy tale type of situation. We met, we fell in love instantly. All the dominoes fell correctly into
Mm.
place. We were married within a year and a half, 8 weeks pregnant on our wedding day. And then I had severe postpartum depression.
Okay. Oh.
So that was really hard. The severe postpartum depression was also a side effect, I would say, from my actual pregnancy. So, yes, I had had issues with depression and anxiety prior to becoming pregnant. Went through my pregnancy with prenatal anxiety and depression. My dad was really sick, and I ended up with symphysis pubis dysfunction. So, the acronym would be SPD for anyone who wants to look that up. And
Yeah.
it's when your
Yeah. What is that?
hormone and releases way too early on. It's supposed to only come out around like 38 to 39 weeks. Mine was releasing around 16 weeks, but obviously it was problematic. I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't turn over in
Oh my
bed. I
goodness.
couldn't walk like 2 feet, like just to like roll myself out of bed to walk to the bathroom. I was in excruciating pain and nobody understood how painful this was. And I was on bed rest from 18 weeks for the rest of my pregnancy. If I went out, I carried a pillow with me. I was
Mm.
prescribed morphine by my OB. And I continued to use cannabis very, very like seldomly. Like it was just in the
Hmm.
evenings, a couple of puffs, and it was the only time of day where I felt relief. But, back in 2016, there's not even 2015, there's not a lot of studies that talked about cannabis use during pregnancy. And everyone was saying, oh, you'll give your children autism,
Mm.
it's not good for you. It's a drug. You shouldn't use it. But there was one study done in Jamaica in the 1990s by Dr. Melanie Dreyer. And I was like, okay, well, there is something. So anyway, went through that time period after birth and thought to myself, because I had been uneducated about pregnancy and hormones and postpartum, like there was not a lot of education then, like 10 years ago. There just
Hmm.
isn't what there is now. And I was the first person in my group of friends
Sure.
to get pregnant. So no, I had no one. I was
Wow.
so isolated and alone. And I thought to myself, well, we really want another child, so we might as well get it done right now because I don't want to lose all the baby weight. I had gained 80 pounds. It was horrible. And I said I didn't want to lose all the weight and get better and feel okay just to get pregnant again and
Go through it
destroy my
again.
body. I'm using
Mm.
air quotes when I say destroy, because pregnancy was not something that I enjoyed at all. I hated it. It was brutal for me. None of it was glorious. Like, yeah, feeling your baby kick was super fun, but like that was it. Like there wasn't anything that I enjoyed about being pregnant. So we got pregnant again right away, and
Okay.
I consumed cannabis as needed throughout that entire pregnancy so I can care for my son. And my daughter's so much more chill than my son. We always joke that I didn't smoke enough weed when I was pregnant with
Oh
him.
my goodness.
It's like the going joke because
That's
he's
so
so
wild.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so wild.
So
But then,
interesting.
yeah, so after my daughter, that's when I fell into like the severity of postpartum depression. I had
Okay.
postpartum rage and postpartum anxiety. Thought I was going to die, had homicidal ideations about my children and husband, told the doctors. They called Child Protective Services on me.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Swear to God. Swear to
Wow.
God. Yeah, sent me to the emergency room because the healthcare system, even 10 years ago in Canada, was such garbage that I couldn't go to see a psychiatrist right away. When you're in the allopathic realm and you're being treated by allopathic practitioners, doctors, OBs, psychiatrists, whatever, they're always going to push medication. So throughout my
Hmm.
whole pregnancy, they kept telling me, well, the reason you're so depressed, Jordana, is because you came off of your medication. So you need to go back up on your medication. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I felt better. I just wasn't
Hmm.
smoking enough because I was clearly scared for my unborn children, right? But they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So I ended up going a little bit more up on Effexor. And that's when things got worse. So when I did go to the emergency room, I sat in front of the doctor, who was a really well-known psychiatrist at the time in the West
Hmm.
Island of Montreal and Quebec. And I looked at him
Hmm.
straight in the face, no bullshit. And I was like, I smoke cannabis for medicinal purposes, and there's no way you're putting me on more drugs. That's going to kill me. And I have children to care for, so it's not an option. And he goes, okay, no problem. Let me get you a prescription for cannabis. And I was like mind blown. I couldn't, like, I was shocked. So we worked together. I ended up educating him a lot more at that point because throughout that whole time, I was really like knee deep in research, getting all of the studies and all of like anything that I could pull from research and from other people's anecdotal evidence and stories. And it changed my life. I ended up having a huge community online on Facebook. I did a whole bunch of news interviews. I had
Hmm.
a documentary on NBC Nightly News for being a mom who used cannabis and was advocating for it over prescription drugs. And I ended up completely curing myself from the rage, anxiety, and depression using cannabis, psilocybin, CBD, exercising, eating well, meditating, and then using a whole bunch of like somatic practices. So that is literally how I cured over 2 decades of chronic anxiety and depression, no more PTSD from the very triggering and challenging experiences that I've had in the past. These plants and the practices that I've incorporated into my life have allowed me to reach the deepest depths of my soul to be able to heal from being the daughter of a very abusive and narcissistic mother and a father who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was on medication his whole life, being bullied throughout all of my teen years, being raped, being sexually assaulted multiple times, like all the things that I have endured in my life, I have worked on so deeply that today none of these things faze me, and I get to look at my past as beautiful opportunities that happened for me so I could heal. I came out of the victimization of myself. I came out of being a victim of my circumstances and pulled myself out of the dark depths of despair.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's what I help other women do. So
Oh,
that's my story in
thank
a
you.
nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you. And literally you did that in like 14 minutes so well articulated. And I was just like hanging on every word because I was like, where is this going? What is she going to say next? Like to hear you go from the cannabis use and the doctor being like, okay, let's get a prescription, to the research that you did, your commitment and dedication to yourself and your advocacy, from what to me sounds like a trust in you when others were telling you otherwise, when others
Yeah.
were saying, no, this is the way, here's psychiatric medication, which is just pushed because often the time isn't taken to really listen to someone and what they're experiencing, and also to get into the roots and the depth of it versus,
The root
oh, you're
cause.
feeling
Right.
sad. Yes, that
Yeah.
root
Take a
cause, which
pill. Take a
sometimes
pill. Numb your feelings. Let's put a band-aid on that. Right. Yeah.
it's horrific and detrimental. I'm not saying, in no way do I just like claim for people to not use psychiatric medication. I claim for each person to listen to themselves and take
Hmm.
the time to know or to express what they intuitively sense is right for them in the moment. Because yeah, it might be 5 years of psychiatric medication. That might be the path that someone follows until they get to a point of, okay, maybe I try something else, or they hear something that someone else says and they're like,
Yeah.
let me consider that. Like, that's what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
sharing this for other listeners to potentially consider, not as, professional recommendation,
Right.
but
Right.
just
Of
here's what
course.
works for me and
Yeah.
here's what's out there.
Honestly, it was psilocybin. So for those of you who don't know the scientific term of magic mushrooms, hallucinogenic mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
psilocybin, those mushrooms, what the mushroom did for me was exactly what I thought antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and antipsychotics were supposed to do for me.
To do.
And, I spent over 7 years being on medication. I listened to the doctors. I followed their protocol. I did everything because I couldn't live like that. And when it didn't work, and I just was like, okay, like, there's no point in living. Like, what is the point? Like, I'm not joyful. I don't like my life. I hate how I look. I was bloated. I had inflammation no matter what. Like I felt fat and disgusting. And like, it was just, I had no spark, no spark in my life, no spark in my eyes, no life in my eyes. I was a shell of a human. So when I started dabbling with plant medicine, like cannabis was just like a huge turnaround. I was like, oh my God, if cannabis is this good, imagine what else could be out there that could help. And magic mushroom psilocybin has been tested and been used to
Hmm.
treat so many people worldwide for mental health issues, for drug addiction. It literally, they regenerate new cells in your body. They help rewire and reprogram your brain. I don't scream. I don't feel impatient. I don't feel irritable. I don't feel like all the noise and the lights and the movement is overstimulating as much when I take a microdose. And I'm not saying that like people need to go and hallucinate and have this crazy trip to benefit from the medicine
Sure.
of this profound plant. You microdose with the tiniest little bit, and all it does is it takes the edge off. It literally does what antidepressants are supposed to do. You can function, you can go to work, you can take care of your kids, you can drive, you can cook, you can clean, like you could do your whole life and have a little microdose, and you're more present.
More
Colors are
present.
more beautiful. Your feelings are more joyful. Edges are sharper. Like it just helps. It just helps. So this was obviously a very profound finding, and it
Yes.
allowed me to become more spiritual, and meditations were a lot deeper, a lot more activated. I was able to astral travel while sleeping. I was able to become even more psychic. So that's a big part of my background
This
and my lineage, is being a psychic medium. I'm the 25th generation on my mom's maternal ancestral line. So excuse me, I burp and yawn a lot when I talk about certain things because it's the way my body is transmuting energy. It's really fun.
I love it. Yeah, I
Thank
love it.
you. So, going through all of that, in the first few years of motherhood, my best friend actually found this quantum healer, and she was following her and listening to her, and she joined her group, and she was like, holy crap, this is so cool. She ended up getting an energy healing session. She thought it was the craziest thing she ever experienced. So, she gifted me one, and in that same time frame I had done my first ever energy healing session, and then I went ahead and received for my birthday a quantum healing hypnosis technique session, which is
Ooh.
QHHT, founded by Dolores Cannon. She had
Uh-huh. I'm familiar.
right? So she
Yes.
had
Yes.
hypnotized over 40,000 people in her lifetime, and her work is very well known. So I had done these two sessions, and literally everything changed for me. I saw past lives that I had. I knew 100% that I had been born again into this lifetime to help people heal. I knew that part of my mission was to experience trauma and to transmute it and to help others through theirs. Um, I saw my father in this session, and he spoke things to me that now make sense since he's passed away. The quantum energy healing session that I had helped me out with being confused with my sexuality at the time. I always thought that I was bisexual. It turns out I was not. So
Okay.
that's really
Ah,
interesting.
yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that came through in these two sessions that made me go, I want to learn how to do this. I
Mm.
want to do this. I'm here to do this. And so
Hmm.
I signed up, I invested a few $1,000s into myself. And, at the time you have two little kids and we were moving and all these things were going on. And so many moms will not spend the money on themselves. They will not get the coach or do the certification because they're like, oh, $3,000 is so much. And I can't spend that on myself. I have children. I can't afford that. But when you take that money and you put it into
Hmm.
yourself, you're putting it into your family. You're putting that into your children and their future because you're bettering yourself, and there's no better investment. So I became a quantum energy healer with certification in 2021. And I've been doing quantum energy healing sessions, and my psychic awareness and my psychic abilities completely exploded since then. So I dedicate my life now to helping other moms heal their inner wounds and to come off of medication, to heal from postpartum, to heal in their marriages, to enjoy motherhood, to understand who they are as a daughter, and just to like reignite their spark, because this world is here to dim your spark. It's here to take it away. It's not here to help you thrive. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'm here to help women reclaim that.
Incredible, incredible. Your journey, your story is so fascinating, and it's so complex, but in a way that seems like the pieces really come together for this sense of wholeness in
Hmm.
you that then you get to offer and serve from your own fulfillment. Your spark
Hmm.
kind of provides that passion that then can attract other people to work with you because
Exactly.
you have the lived experience, not I just did this training and now I know. It's I've gone
Exactly.
through the trauma, and I have the training from others who whether they created it or whether they've also gone through the trainings to then pass it down
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
just
wild. I'm now in the part of
fascinating.
my journey where I'm experiencing exactly what I was ambitious to achieve. Like now I'm like actually reaping the full benefits of all the healing I've poured into myself over the years. And I think that the best part about my journey is that it took me a decade to get here, but because I know exactly over the years what worked, what didn't, what to
Hmm.
do consistently, what you can do like temporarily, like I've been able to formulate my own kind of signature healing modality where you can achieve where I'm at after 10 years within 6 months.
Mm,
So
yeah,
that is
so much
absolutely
faster.
wild. Yeah. Like
It's
I look
yes.
back now, like I just went through the most crazy shit of my life in the last couple of weeks. Like, like just crazy things that in the past I would have spent days spiraling out, personalizing, feeling triggered, losing sleep, taking it out on my family, like totally unfocused. And instead, I was like, okay, cool. So, this is a really interesting opportunity. How am I going to run with this? How am I going to grow from this? And I think that that's the most magical thing that comes out of healing is that, again, like I said earlier, you're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the hero of your circumstances. You get to decide what the outcome is going to be. So, if you have a parent who has fallen really ill, and this is just an example, and
Yeah.
you are the only child in the family or the only family member who can help that parent, but like maybe you don't have a great relationship with them, instead of it being this whole huge, awful, dramatic, soul crushing situation, you get to look at it and be like, how can I step into my highest self so that I can be a good daughter, but remain faithful
Mm.
to my own self and my own needs and have boundaries, but still be able to show up for this person who has abused me, who has mistreated me, who,
Hmm.
hasn't been there for me, would never turn around and do this for me. How can I serve them with compassion,
Wow.
acceptance, understanding, grace, and
Hmm.
integrity while still being that for myself? And that's who I am today. And it is mind fucking blowing to be on this end of the
This side.
healing, to just
Mm.
like no, like you don't even question it anymore. You're just like, okay, let's go.
Well, because that sounds like that's what you're now filled with or accessing more in yourself. The compassion, the love, the ability to be more open and neutral and objective versus going into defensiveness or fear or like the activation or trigger response of this person abused me and now I need to protect myself and constrict myself. So that leads to the avoidance or the argument or whatever, that's from more of that like fear place, where through this healing there overall it sounds like there's just higher states of consciousness that
100%.
you've
100%.
accessed,
Yeah.
yes, and are bringing to earth, right? You said like earth
Right.
is not the place because the capitalistic societal structure wants to kind of dim all of that, but for those that are here, that, and I believe we all have the ability, it's the choosing of it,
Exactly.
to combine that more ethereal with the physical and
Exactly.
live, when people say like heaven on earth or the 5D on earth,
Yeah.
that we're on that path of how to integrate all of that.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a wild time to be alive. Wild time. Anyone who is alive today on earth, their soul, we chose to come here during this extremely profound time on this planet. Our souls did not mess around when they were like, okay, I'm going to be alive on planet Earth during this particular time. So people really are being forced to, make choices. Actually, it was at the beginning of January, I believe, where I did a collective reading on Instagram. And that was the mess. Like, I had done readings for clients within like the last week and first week of January. And all of my clients had this underlying theme of really being forced out of their comfort zone and pushed into the
Mhm.
unknown and having to make a choice that was more in alignment with their soul than what they were previously doing. And I would tell my clients, you're literally at the crossroads. It's fully up to you. You can either choose to stay in the same situation that
Mm.
you've been in for the last however many years, and please expect that it will stay the same, only you will feel worse. You will
Mm.
not thrive. You will not get better. You will not move forward. You are choosing the same thing. So in a year from now, you're going to be feeling exactly how you feel now. Or you get to choose to make a decision that's completely different. You step out of your comfort zone, you take the leap of faith towards yourself, and you get to experience that transformation. You get to experience the abundance, the growth, the joy, the inner peace that brings you. And not everyone is going to choose path B. Some people are so stuck in fear
Yes.
of the unknown that they're not even going to allow the unknown to be an exciting opportunity. And a lot of the people who are stuck with the fear are highly anxious human beings, because anxiety is fear, just like
Yes.
depression is the past. Depression is your circumstances and your past. So if you're in a current situation that is not soul alignment, you're going to be depressed because you're not living the life you're meant to be living. So your soul is just like, oh, this is not what I want to be doing.
Hmm.
So it's really hard. And then that's it. So depression is disalignment in your soul's purpose. Anxiety is purely fear. And PTSD is you not getting to the root cause of the trauma that you've experienced. So these things that we're taught through allopathic medicine, they're hereditary, it's genetic, they're incurable, you have to go to therapy and you have to take medication. That to me is the most garbage lie that we've ever been sold. Like you mentioned before, the root cause. You look at your life, okay, yeah, maybe you're living in a house that you don't want to live in, or you're married to someone who is really dragging you down instead of lifting you up. Yeah, it's going to be hard to either move or to divorce. Those are not easy decisions, of course. But what are you going to choose? You're going to be miserable for the rest of your life because it's too hard to get divorced? No, you make the hard decision so that you can move forward. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to be crippled with
Crippling.
dis-ease. And then all of that leads to cancer or diabetes or Alzheimer's. Our bodies shut down physically when we are not getting to the root cause of the mental, the emotional, and energetic bodies that we have. It's not
Yes.
just like our physical form. We have 5 subtle energy bodies that doctors don't ever look at.
Yes.
So
Yep.
it's,
Yep.
you have depression, okay, well, again, the root cause, right? So it's been very interesting learning all of this throughout the last few years of my life and connecting the dots and waking up to recognizing that the medical system, a lot of people say the system is broken. And I love to jump in and be like, I'm sorry, but you're so wrong. It's not broken. Nothing about the system is broken. Nothing about the government is broken. It has been fabricated in the way to support them. It's not for the people. So the system isn't broken for us. It's a well-oiled machine for the people who put it in place. We are just the fools that continue to go into it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
To live in that when we do
Yeah.
have a choice and an autonomy to explore. And thankfully, there are practitioners and healers and spiritualists and others that are now coming about more and more to say here there's an option, because so many people are in that fear of, if I don't listen to the government, I'm going to be like legally held responsible or criminally charged or persecuted. The system promotes that fear or utilizes fear as a tactic to keep people in it. And so to learn and practice how to be in the unknown, as you say, sometimes is how to acknowledge the fear and let the fear subside, or still make choices even if there is still fear.
Exactly.
And that connection of, here's my emotional body that's in fear, here's my cognitive body that wants to leave my marriage or make a job change or try this other modality. But then the nervous system or the emotion, the energy, the physical body can get like that paralysis and stuck. And I think that's where you're coming from of, well, there are these other options, these natural options, the plant medicine that helps to break some of that kind of frozen paralysis that may be there, that keeps people in the same repeating
Exactly.
patterns.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to incorporate different modalities
Different
together. Like,
modalities.
you cannot just
Mm-hmm.
eat well and exercise and think that like you're going to be okay forever and that you've healed your inner wounds. That's clearly not enough, right? So everything in combination, especially what I teach in my mentorships for, I have one mentorship that's called Reignite Your Spark. That is a group program for women. And then I have
Mm-hmm.
Reignite Your Marriage, which is a one-on-one mentorship for women who are feeling very lost and alone and isolated in their marriages. And, maybe their marriage is not over. They just really want to reconnect with their spouse. Or they want to, or they figure out that like, okay, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be married to this person anymore. But in any
Mm-hmm.
way, they learn how to communicate really well. So you cannot just use one healing modality. Like, you can't just take antidepressants and think that that's going to make your depression better. So when you are using, like, let's say, I'll give you an example from Reignite Your Spark. Like, we're going to be doing reprogramming of your actual DNA, your belief system, your behaviors, your habits, your patterns. I'm going into your Akashic records, I'm going into your ancestral lineage, and I'm pulling all of the gunk from your mom, your grandmother, your great grandmother, whoever's involved. That is why you're a people pleaser. That's why you self sacrifice. That's why you have bad taste in men. That's why you don't believe in yourself, or you think you have to work so hard to bleed first before you can be successful. All of these behavioral patterns and beliefs that we carry into our adulthood that prevent us from really living our best possible life is all fixable. It's all curable. It's all, you're able to heal it all through reprogramming, rewiring, energy healing. Obviously I think physical movement is probably one of the most important ways to gain confidence and power and strength and empowerment, because it's one aspect of your life that you do have full control over. And I know that as a mother, and especially someone who is healed from previous anxiety and depression, having control in my life is a very important thing for me, especially also
Mm-hmm.
being the daughter of a
So
narcissistic
common.
parent.
Mm-hmm.
I can't control what my kids are exposed to at school. I can't control, like every tiny little thing that's so important to me. But when I go to the gym and I have that 45 minutes every single morning, I control how much weight I lift. I control how hard I push. I control being present. Like, I control that, and it makes me feel on top of the world. So lifting weights, doing Pilates, going for walks, like any type of physical movement is essential for a woman who is on a healing journey. Yeah, I'm really passionate about all that.
I love it. I love it. Me too. I'm a yoga instructor, and that's what I incorporate like in my one-on-one therapy sessions, and also in classes and workshops and groups. Like, again, the kind of those five aspects of ourself, and pulling like mental health. To me, I'm 10 years mental health therapist, went to school, like, this is the diagnosis, you use CBT. And I'm so
Yeah.
beyond that now, because I
Yeah.
do fully
A lot of
believe
therapists
that,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all we knew.
Yeah.
Or it's all that's really like pushed and taught. And so to open that up, or to be more eclectic, but to also encourage people like, hey, I'm not going to be the only practitioner probably that's for you too. Like, maybe look at nutritionist, or look at other types of prescribers, or look at healing modalities, like maybe try the Reiki or try past life regression, try a psychic. I have this group and community too. And we had a psychic medium come in. And I had an art therapist come in. It's so energizing to me too, to like explore this, to talk about it with you and
I love that.
to spread that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually had two great clients who are clinical psychologists, and one of them was like, honestly, Jordana, she's like, I spent so many years learning and practicing and working with clients. She's like, what you've done for me in these few months has been way more effective than anything I've done with my clients in the last like 15 years of my career. And it's shocking. It's shocking. It's shocking, but it's not shocking at the same
Yeah.
time, you know?
Yeah. I
It
get
just
it.
makes me like, I think we really are coming into a new era in the world where spiritual practices and alternative healing modalities are going to be what people are heading towards in the future rather than the allopathic route. So, yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I think we only get there from trying to like fight the system or even right. Like I think when we say the system is broken, and I used to say it myself, but I think that puts people in that victim mentality of like
It
I'm the
does.
victim to the broken system versus
Yeah.
wait, I have autonomy and I can show up differently in my role. And by
Hmm.
doing that, people can start to move away from the system instead of
Yeah.
fighting it to try to defeat it. It's let's just move people away and
Yeah.
explore or engage in these other options.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a magical time to be alive.
It is magical. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
am curious how did you get you mentioned the psilocybin and the use of microdosing. How did you
Hmm.
get from the practitioner or the doctor that said, I'll give you the prescription for cannabis, then to kind of the next plant medicine or the next thing that you tried?
That's a great question. So at the time, I had a Facebook group with over 5,000 moms worldwide. Moms were obviously very much looking for a safe space to be able to talk about their cannabis use during motherhood or while pregnant or whatever it was. And I met so many people being in that space. I was going to all the expos, I was going to conferences and all the things. Psilocybin was very much a part of that world at the time. And it was a nurse practitioner who actually was dabbling as well in plant medicine and becoming an advocate and writing articles and sharing research. And she said, I really think that this would help you. You should give it a try. So it's like twice now that I recognize that two people
Mm.
said, hey, you should really try this. And when you are in such a desperate state of being and you're doing the things and it's not working, like I was like,
Hmm.
I'm desperate, I gotta try something, right? Like you can't, for severe postpartum depression, like the first year of my daughter's life, like I don't cry about it so much anymore because I've done so much healing, but like it took me a really long time to be able to look at baby pictures and not cry. I was so disconnected from myself, so disconnected in my marriage and from both my children, couldn't barely hold my daughter in the first year, hated being a mom. Like, I think I've actually hated being a mom up until December of this, like last month. Like,
Yes, that's a
I've
long
been a mom
time.
for 10 years.
Almost a decade.
Almost a
And
decade, almost
yes.
my entire journey so far in motherhood has been what I think felt brutal. I really have not enjoyed it. I struggled a lot because my son is a huge mirror in my life. He triggers me in ways that I never ever imagined would be possible, and he's also very, very psychic. And while it's so amazing, it's so
Hmm.
hard sometimes because I feel like nothing is secret in my head. We're always like on the same wavelength, thinking the same things. It's hard to play games with him too because he's like one step ahead or I'm one step
Uh-huh.
ahead. So it's super cute and fun. But
It's hard too.
yeah, so the psilocybin was something that was recommended to me. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place there, but it was recommended to me. And, I know that there's like a lot of knee jerk reactions with magic mushrooms and people who like are too scared to try it
Hmm.
because they don't want to trip out or they don't want to see things. And it's like that's really not what's going to happen when you're microdosing. It's really not, you know? So yeah, it really, I
Thank you.
microdose regularly. Like these are the two capsules that I take.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they're really great. And, I take one a day, for 2, 3 days, and life is just so much
Are they
better.
legal in Canada? I don't know what the regulations are here. I'm in
I
the
think
East
they're
Coast of the US.
decriminalized. I think they
Okay.
might be decriminalized.
Interesting.
I don't know if they're fully legal. I don't really care. They
I'm
work,
I
you
yeah.
know? I'm like,
Again,
I
it's
just
all
don't care.
open
I'm
here
like,
and
people
I
need to take them. It should be free, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're fully legal. I don't think so. I don't think so. Probably just decriminalized, but
I
I get them shipped to
I
my door. So I don't
okay.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure exactly like how that works. And even when with your first try, was it facilitated? Was there like a practitioner facilitating?
No,
I'm just kind of
it was
curious your
me.
route.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
It
me
was
by
you.
myself
Okay.
at home.
Okay.
Setting is very important. Intention is
Mm-hmm.
probably the most important thing with any kind
Mm-hmm.
of plant medicine. So for psilocybin, I would put some meditation music on. I really love healing frequencies and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful chorus. When I first heard beautiful chorus, if you've never
Oh, they're
heard this,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
I do.
I cried. I
Yes.
cried when I heard them for the first time in 2019, I think it was. And, every time I take a capsule or my husband takes one, like, I'm like, okay, let's just take a moment. We put it in our mouth and we're like, okay, like, thank you so much, plant medicine. Thank you for this, like, mushroom medicine, I call it. And, my intention in taking this capsule today is to be more present, more joyful, and to have like inner peace.
Mm,
And that's it. And it's magic. Actually,
thank
yeah,
you.
pure magic.
I hear that, and I think it's beautiful to come across something for yourself that you can like co-create with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's only accessing something, like I said, that's in you, but it also has its own energy, its own aliveness,
Yeah. Totally.
that you're working with and is receptive
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Um,
cannabis is very much
yes.
like that too. So it's a little bit sad to see how, you know, how it's marketed and sold and talked about. And it is a very feminine plant. It's called the mother plant. And
Mm,
it has incredible healing properties. Again, when you use it with intention, you can bad trip, you can increase anxiety,
right.
you can,
Right.
like there are definitely negative effects if you're using it without intention. So it's important to do that too. Anything you take, like anything that you're consuming should be done so
Drinking water.
intentionally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
drinking
even
water.
water.
Yes,
Exactly.
even
Yeah.
water. And that's I want to highlight
Speaking
that and
of,
repeat that. There you go. Yes, or for me with tea. Um, but yes, the intention, because it holds a power. You think of many people who use cannabis or smoke to numb out because that is the intention that they're going
yeah,
in. But if
yeah,
you are
100%.
setting that intention for presence, for spark, for relaxation, for inner peace, for harmony, yeah, I get chills just really emphasizing and reinforcing
Yeah.
that. Um, I want to speak back to, and I'm glad you kind of went on that tangent with motherhood and hearing you say, like for such a long time you really hated it, because I think there's many mothers, I've been there too, and can admit and disclose as well
Hmm.
the aspect of like tension and frustration or dislike of being a mother at times,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of shame that people carry
So
in
much shame.
admitting, and they won't
Yeah.
even
So
say it.
much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
to say it and to know you're not alone and to hear how big your groups are and that there are places that will hold that sacred while you can still be a mother and also feel as you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that it's one of my favorite things, like topics to talk about, is anything that's really triggering, taboo, or stigmatic, or
Hmm.
shameful. I think that those
Hmm.
conversations have the most power and the most healing in them. I don't have a Facebook group anymore. because COVID happened, and then I got canceled out and my life was being threatened because I spoke out about medical autonomy and medical
Whoa.
freedom, and
Oh my
asked
goodness.
questions and used discernment. And if you're using cannabis and you recognize that the prescription meds weren't working, but cannabis is, you should be questioning whether or not this vaccine is safe. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hate and a lot of cancel
Okay.
culture at the time for me. So I actually shut
Gotcha.
that group down because I was like, fuck
Okay.
all y'all. You're only like, like you're wearing the blinders and you only want to like believe in what you want to believe in, and you're not ready. Like there were so many people who were not ready to allow cannabis to be the thing that expanded their consciousness. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I was
Mm-hmm.
really heading after postpartum depression. So
Mm-hmm.
people got to see in real time my transformation because I would share every single day and do these crazy live videos for like an hour and talk about like the most heavy, again, taboo, stigmatic, like shameful conversations. And it was really, really powerful. But I think that, we hold a lot of shame about motherhood because there's so much pressure, because we've all
Mm-hmm.
been taught that you're supposed to love motherhood, that it's a
Mm-hmm.
miracle that you can even have a child and be a mom, and that it's so rewarding and it's the best thing you'll ever do, and like pregnancy is amazing and you glow and blah blah. That was none of my experience,
Mm-hmm.
like at
Mm-hmm.
all, and no one was talking about it, so I felt like I wanted to die. I had such little value over my life because I thought something must be so disturbingly wrong with me that I don't love being pregnant, that I'm suffering like this, that I feel like a cow. There must be something just wrong with me. I must be so fucked up to not love being a
Wow.
mom. What does this mean
Wow.
about me? Right. And so that's, I think, where the
Mm-hmm.
shame is for so many women. But it
Yes.
turns out that I just had a whole bunch of inner child shit that, like, from being, again, the daughter of a narcissistic mother and a very mentally ill father who, my father was always on a pedestal. He was my absolute number one. He was more nurturing, more there for me than any other person in my life. And losing him to the medical system back in 2014, 13, 12, back in about 2012, yeah, the psychiatric hospital here literally was a huge helping hand in my father's disintegration and his lithium overdose that they did, which completely fried his brain. And he
My
was a
goodness.
vegetable of a human. And it was a 12-year process watching my father die, very slow, horrible, excruciating death. And
So
then
sorry.
the COVID vaccine was literally
Yeah.
what put the nail in the coffin for him. So it was brutal to see. Thank you. But thankfully now he's at peace. And there's so much to learn about yourself and why you feel the way you do about your
Yes.
parents or about yourself or about being a mother.
Yes.
And these are all the things that I love to help women work through, because you can work through it, you can heal, you can come out the other side. Like, I experience so much more joy with my kids now. I genuinely love hanging out with them. I'm excited to play with them. I'm excited to talk to them. And I didn't have that forever, like it was always
Mm-hmm.
just a battle and it was hard. And my son had a lot of behavioral issues because of my postpartum rage and anxiety and depression. And he was definitely on the receiving end of a lot of the rage, unfortunately. So we've been doing a lot of healing as a family, a lot of repair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been pouring so much into, that's why it's so important for moms to heal more than anything else. Like, you want to put your kid in therapy, I suggest you work on yourself first
You
before
work
you
on
do that to
yourself.
your child.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah.
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 Yes. It's the
When
greatest
you
gift for
heal,
yourself
you
and
heal
them.
your children. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It
Beautiful
ripples. The work I
message.
do definitely ripples into the entire family unit. So it's really
Yeah.
special.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Are you open before do an oracle pull? Are you open
Mhm.
to sharing one example of a way that your child um, kind of confronted you or triggered something in you that you kind of took as a lesson or something to heal within yourself?
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, which one? And
Yeah.
it can be
My
small.
Yeah. Well, so using energy healing and being psychic, and also my best friend is an incredible astrologer for parents as well. So having all these different modalities
Mm,
allows me to expand my knowledge and awareness and helps me to understand my children better, why we are,
hmm.
excuse me, the way we are, how we work as a family unit and all the things. And so my son, for me, he is here to show me how to be more flexible, to not be so rigid
Flexibility.
and controlling. And so that is the biggest trigger. He loves violence. He is very into fighting and yeah, all things violent. He's a 10-year-old boy. He has a
Hmm.
lot of energy and things. And, since he was very little, I tried so hard to, be mindful of the TV shows he was watching, the books that my kids would read, like all the media exposure in general, because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of subliminal messaging and programming and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, okay, now we're starting to watch Star Wars. Which is all fighting and all the
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
things. So I'm being really forced to be more flexible, less
Flexible.
controlling. And so that's a big trigger between him and I, and he's here to teach me that. And we talk about it
I
all the
love that too.
time, that we're here to teach each other, and that it's not just him who's learning and growing, it's me too. And we're
Yes.
here to help each other as much as we can. And that his job is to be a kid and my job is to be a parent. So he needs to listen. But there's still things I'm going to learn from him too. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's wise, the wisdom of maybe the places where you have been more rigid, or if you could, like, controlling. I always put that in air
Yeah.
quotes. And for the children who are more just acting presently, I think that's what mine is here to teach me, is
About
the value
presence.
and the
Yeah.
importance about being present.
Yeah.
Because I'm so often not. He wants to play, and I'm like, oh, I got this email, I got the dishes, I have laundry. I'm like, why is all this coming up now? I don't even care about those things, but they're
Yeah.
coming up in the moment where he's like, Mom, sit and play with me. And I'm like, I can't sit still, even though I want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So when I view it that way, at times I'm like, there's something wrong with me, but it's like, well, no, I'm human. But if I can view it as my tension, my discomfort is an area that I still need to work on and heal with
Yeah.
myself, and to see him as that teacher too. So
Yeah.
I think that's valuable and wise even for others to hear, so that
A
they can
hundred
have
percent.
that frame.
We have,
Yeah.
like, I think a good rule of thumb is to, like, give your kids a good 10 minutes of complete presence. No phone, no TV, no
Hmm.
devices. Sit down with your kid, play for 10 minutes. They don't need you to sit down for an hour. They don't, that's not what they need. They need a person, a parent who's going to look at them in the eye when they're speaking. They're going to need someone who will sit and be patient and answer their questions or ask about their day. And when my kids come home from school, there's like a good like hour window where my phone is not with me because, for some reason 3:30 to 4:30 everyone's emailing, everyone's doing something, and I'm
Hmm.
like, no, 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 no,
Hmm.
no. Like, this is not, even on weekends, I will not work, I will not answer emails, I will not, like, I that's my time with my kids. And again, it took me a long time to get here
Beautiful.
because in the earlier days of motherhood, I would do everything to avoid hanging out and being present and just making sure that, they had all the things that they need and they were occupied and they were happy, safe, and healthy. But it, that presence is so important. And you're right, the dishes can wait. The
Yes.
sweeping of the floor can wait. Like, I'm that person. If I sit down on the floor and I play with my kids, my eyes wander and I'm like, look at all the dirt under the
Yes.
couch. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
Mommy's just going to clean this real quick. And then it's like an
Yeah.
hour's
Like,
gone by.
so silly. Yes.
It's hard. It's very hard
It's
to be
hard.
present in today's day and age because of that instant gratification. Everything is
Hmm.
like, let's go.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, being present,
Yes.
we're all being
Yeah.
forced to practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my framing, as opposed to being a mom, means I need to be present. I think that it's like, no, it's my benefit to be
Yeah.
present
It's
too. That
inviting you.
then
Motherhood is inviting you to be
inviting.
present.
Oh, yes, inviting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, let's pull a card.
Sure.
So I will give you a couple choices, and then whatever you intuitively feel drawn to. I have a soul mirror deck. I have a women's medicine deck. Yeah, between those two, I'll grab them so you can look at
Yeah,
them.
sure. I already know which one I'm going to pick.
Well then, let's go with it. All right.
We'll do the soul one.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Soul
it's going to be the
mirror.
soul mirror. Yeah. I was like, the
Soul
second you
mirror.
said soul mirror, I was like, done.
Okay.
Very reflective of today's conversation.
Yeah, I think that's why I was drawn. Why I was drawn to it too. Okay, so I will shuffle, and then at any point in time you sense for me to stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Or one fell. Do we want
Oh,
that one?
yeah.
Do we want the one that
Yeah.
fell?
We want the one
All
that
right.
fell. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there's two. So we're going to go with
Beautiful.
two. We have, which this is pretty fitting, celebration.
Okay.
Celebration, which says mournful and joyous.
No, I love that. Look at that picture. All the naked ladies. Woo, I
All the
love it.
naked ladies. That's
Under
why
the
it's like, this is
moon. Naked
fitting.
ladies under the full moon. I
Under the
love that.
moon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the moon phases. Yeah.
The joyous really stands out for me of just the spark that you talked about,
Yeah.
and bringing more of that, celebrating that. I have not picked this card very much, so, or it hasn't
It's
come out
beautiful.
even for many people, but it is beautiful, and I will read it. But then we also have relationships.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Wow, what a beautiful
And
deck.
I love, yes, I
Yeah.
love this deck. For anyone that is
Beautiful.
interested, Soul Mirror Oracle. Yeah, by Sunshine Connolly.
Beautiful.
Yes. And then underneath relationships, we have distant and connected.
Mm. I'm doing
Anything
a really
come?
cute connection
Go
activity
ahead.
with my husband right now. Yeah,
Oh,
because of the Reignite Your Spark marital mental mentorship that I have. I was like, let's do one of the
yes.
practices ourselves just for fun, and it has been glorious. Like we're doing such cute things for each other every day that are easy to do, and it really brings so much connection into the marriage. It's so lovely. So I love the card that you picked. Well, that fell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just reinforcing all of that for yourself and for others to take. So relationships, it says, each relationship is sacred. Embrace the experiences with an open heart. They will guide you on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Trust the divine timing and know that every encounter is shaping your soul's evolution. Your perspective of me is a reflection of you. Relationships, whether intimate, friendship, or family, are very close soul mirrors that we share in your life. These mirrors will reflect to you in immediate and in inescapable ways, prompting rapid learning and spiritual growth. Our triggers are highlighted through our interactions with others to be released and alchemized into a loving state. This can be achieved by either healing our own inner wounds or learning and acknowledging what we will and will not accept. I mean, now I'm like,
Hilarious.
oh, just like we talked about,
Yeah.
even
Everything we
in
talked about.
motherhood.
Yeah.
Everything.
Literally everything. Duh.
Yes. So give thanks to the reflections, what they show you, and rejoice in your life. Reflection questions: what's holding me back from connection with myself and others? How might I use relationships as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery? Look at that. And then real quick, celebration. Celebrate this moment, anything of accomplishment, milestone, rejoice and honor this present moment as a special occasion, as an act of self-creation that supports you as you manifest a life of love, joy, and fulfillment. With open arms, a graceful heart, embrace the bliss of every occasion. Celebration is a transformative act that supports your connection. When you celebrate, you strengthen your foundation with joy, fortifying the life that you want to experience. It's easy to become fixated on the past and future. And when you do, you miss the beauty of the present moment. Perhaps the beauty is here all along. So be present as you sing, dance, move, smile, and rejoice. What can I celebrate more of in my life? Presents. There we go.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
I love how it captures all of that and brings this all full circle. So
totally. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Any final words, or let people know how they can find you? I'll also put it in the description, but if there's anything you want to share, website, social media.
Sure. So it's all Jordana Rachelle on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, my website, all Jordana Rachelle. And the message that I love to leave people with is healing is absolutely possible. And don't ever let a single soul on this planet tell you that you can't heal, change, and grow and better yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Yes, well, I appreciate you being here. And anyone and everyone who's listening, feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts, or if you have questions, please just find either of us. We're here for you. And until next time.
Thank you so much, Manda.
Great. You're so welcome. Yep. Thank you, everyone, for showing up for yourself and being here with us. You amaze me, and I love you.